We are ready to start this webinar. This webinar is dedicated to the Adonai buzz, and then also the possible connections between Adonai buzz, which are the chakras, and alchemy. So we'll see how they're connected to alchemy. Adonai buzz is a Damanhurian word or word of the sacred language to describe the chakras. We'll talk about what these Adonai buzz are. The Adonai buzz are the chakras of this new millennium. Why do we call them Adonaiba, and why are they the chakras of this new millennium? And that is because we just started this new age that has a different level of consciousness, and a human being, thanks to this new energetic level, thanks to this new level of consciousness and awareness, can now reach different phases of inner reawakening that are also a lot deeper. As a consequence, the chakras become Adonaipas and become those elements, those tools that allow us to go through a journey inside us, a deeper journey that also includes accessing deeper or higher states of consciousness. But let's start by briefly describing what these chakras or Adonaipas are. First of all, the Adonaipas are energetic centers. They are placed in different areas, and they follow the line of our spine. We could also imagine them as small vortexes of energy. We can imagine them on a larger scale in bigger galaxies, and then on smaller scales, for example, on our body. And in their shape of discs, or sort of wheels or vortexes, we could also imagine them as the bridge that connects body and mind. In the Damanhurian tradition, they're often represented with the image or symbol of the lotus flower, and they have mainly an energetic function. So they transmit energy from their center, and then they also assimilate, receive energy from the outside, in this case, from what is outside of the human body. Therefore, we can consider them as centers for both receiving and then processing and then transmitting vital energy. Falco used to also talk about centers that weave energy. Falco Tarasso, for those of you that are not familiar with him, that don't know him, he's the founder of Damanhur, and he often talked about these centers that, as we said, weave energy and represent basically the spider at the center of a web. So these energetic centers, they emit, create, or as we said, weave energetic threads, and then these threads are weaved together and connect these seven. We will then later talk about also an eighth one by these seven fundamental energetic centers that we learned to call Adonai-bas. What we also have to consider is that each center records a specific frequency or is set on a specific type of energy. So we can compare them to centers as actual tools or musical instruments that create, produce, emit notes. And each center, of course, creates a perfectly tuned note when the center is clean and well organized. When everything is well balanced, these musical instruments create an orchestra that produces a nice melody, which is our goal. It's what we all aim to create. In this metaphor, we can consider them as 8 points. Yes, 8 in total for us, but as 8 points that connect and create a scale. Helko used to also define these centers as bridges for the human bridge, therefore points of connections between the physical realm, subtle bodies, and spirituality. We can also represent them or picture them as onions that we progressively get rid of different layers from, and eventually we reach a central core, which is a bright core that cannot be kept too still because it's a core also connected to the others in a sort of chain or sequence. When we talk about the Adonai-bas, we can see 7 different levels of consciousness, and we can imagine these Adonaibas, these energetic centers, these chakras as actual worlds. Each one of these worlds is connected to a state of consciousness, a specific one. And it's also connected to specific keywords. These keywords are, of course, aligned with the meanings and the functions we can find in every single one of them. So for each Adonaiba, we can mention a specific state of consciousness. So let's start by saying that we start in our school, in our philosophy, so in the Damanhurian philosophy, we start from an Adonaiba that is connected to this new historic age. So we start with a different kind of sequence, and we start from the solar plexus. So that is our first one in the sequence. We will see this together soon. We'll see each one. We'll focus on the first one, solar plexus, heart, and then we will move down actually, following the sequence, with the third one being in the lower regions of the body. So we start from the solar plexus, and that is because in this new historic age, as we said, we just started this historic phase, and in this historic phase, this is the first one of the sequence. So let's start by talking about the meanings of these Adonaibas, so that all of you will also be able to enter more deeply inside of these 7 worlds that, as we will soon see, are actually 8 in total. So let's start from the first one. Let's start, as we said, from the first chakra, the first Adnaiba. And as we said in our sequence, and this also applies to all other Adunaibas, this Adunaiba is placed on the spine. So it follows this vertical line of the spine, and it is at around the same height of our belly button. This Adonaiba is connected to the personal power. It is connected to finding, recognizing, thanks to this energy and thanks to this specific state of consciousness that we can find in it, connected to this energetic center. So to find, it's connected to finding one's own identity, noticing, realizing how it is possible to transform ourselves through the use of this energy, these specific states of consciousness connected to it, and also to metabolism. It is also connected to this energetic center. Each Adonaiba has its own element, and the element of this energetic center is fire. Fire gives us another element. It reminds us that it is possible to transform other parts of us, thanks through the use of it. In this case, again, through the use of fire. The second one, we have to find it again or search for it again on our spine. So we will still follow the line of our spine, but for what concerns the second one, it is at around the same height of the heart. It is he's just reminding people to select the right channel because a few more people just joined us. Okay, so let's move on. As we were saying, the second Adonaiba We should place it at around the same height of our heart, still, of course, on our spine, so we can find it there. Here we can meet a world made of different colors. In this case, it is an orange world. The first Adonaiba connected to, as we said, the element fire. It is actually a golden world. So the first one has this color, but the second world, an orange world, is at around the height of our heart, and it is connected to love, gratitude, friendship, compassion, and it is also connected in terms of elements to the element air. The third one, in this case, actually, we go down. So following the spine, instead of moving up, we go back down, and we have to go at the very base of our spine. In this case, it is the energetic center connected to the color red, place it around the height or in between the anus and the genital organs and genital area. And this Adonaiba is connected to the topic of survival, of the energies of the earth, the energy of the plant world, and also to the physical energy. So our physical energy and the element, naturally, in this case, it's the element earth. For the first one, we move back up. We find the fourth Adonaiba. The fourth Adonaiba, or energetic center, is placed in an area that's in between the sacred bone and the base of our genital area, and it is connected to the world of emotions, to the masculine principle and the feminine principle, to the topic of memories, including past lives and previous experiences connected to the element water. Now, we follow the spine, move back up, and we are ready to find the fifth Adonaiba, the fifth energetic center. This fifth one is at around the height of our throat. The color for this fifth one is a light blue, like the light blue of the summer sky, and it is connected to the world of communication, creativity, sounds, voice, naturally, silence. And then we're ready to move up and to discover the sixth one. The sixth Adonaiba is placed in our head, height of our brain, between the two hemispheres of the brain. The color is a purple, and it is connected to clairvoyance. So in this case, we're talking about the power we can express when we use the sense of dream, but in this more meaningful way, or when we activate our so-called inner powers or potentials. So in this Adonaiba, we access this sphere of knowledge connected to this sixth Adonaiba. And in this sixth Adonaiba, we can also find or see our path of inner reawakening, inner knowledge. And then eventually we're ready to discover the seventh world, seventh Adonaiba. In terms of area of the body, it is the top of our head, corresponds or is aligned to the chakra of the crown, connected to wisdom and the connection with the world of the invisible or divine world, the sense of the sacred, and with everything that connects us with this sphere of the invisible that is beyond our world made of matter, the more physical world. If the sixth chakra was connected to the light, the seventh one, we can consider it to be connected also to thought and the divine thought. And now we can also mention the existence of an eighth energetic center. The eighth Adonaiba is a bit of a particular one. We define it as the mobile Adonaiba because it moves. It is not aligned with a specific area of the body. It is not still. It is not located anywhere specifically. This Adonaiba rotates in what represents the subtle body, the more invisible body of the human being. And it is that Adonaiba, that energetic center, that contains essentially what represent our divine memories, everything we gradually were able to acquire, earn, extract from our evolutionary path, while also in connection with the divine sphere and the divine dimension. And so this specific Adonai, but this eighth one can transmit this type of energy and these types of memories, and it can essentially activate or transmit all these characteristics to the other seven. This is a characteristic of our tradition and of our Damanhurian school, the existence of this eighth one. We will then explain also the differences between what is the Manurian school of the Adonibas and other philosophies or other traditions, because they have different sequences and different traditions, as we said. They are placed on our spine, so we should always imagine the chakras or Adonibas as these vortexes or centers that follow our spine in this line. The human being, we can also consider it as a tree that has roots that grow towards the sky, so move up, and it's the branches that move down. And we can consider these 8 centers or 8 worlds connected between each other. They follow a specific sequence or scale or chain, and they also require a process of purification because it's essentially what tunes each one of them. As we said, they're musical instruments and create the perfect orchestra, which is a harmonious one. Each Adonaiba, each chakra is also characterized, of course, by a specific function or characteristic. Because it's exactly like all of us, we're all different. We all have specific characteristics that distinguish us from other people. It is the same thing also for these Adonaibas, but their characteristics are also heavily influenced by the specific historic era, historic age. So, what determines the influence is ways of thinking, the logic used and embraced by that historic age. And so, we will talk about, or we will see, for example, the example of this in some civilizations, maybe more connected to what represents the world of sexuality. We could think of examples as civilizations in India, or the use of the mind in a more careful, deeper way, and other civilizations instead, maybe more connected with the world of relationships, the world of emotions, the world connected, of course, to the world of the heart. And so in that case, we can also see this path of the Adonaibas. We can see the importance they have, and we all attribute to these Adonaibas, but we can learn to read them also by analyzing different civilizations and seeing which one is the dominant one or predominant one. In this new age, the age of Aquarius, we focus a lot of attention, especially on all the meanings and functions connected to what for us represents the first one in the sequence. So the one connected to the solar plexus, and it's that Adonaiba that allows us to reconnect ourselves or to reconnect more easily with what represents our personal power. So this Adonaiba of the solar plexus allows us to find our identity, our ability to know ourselves, both for what concerns ourselves, but also for the world around us, and therefore to start in a more facilitated way to start and activate this journey of self-discovery. For in the world, for example, it is Manipur. For us, it is called Alteco. Alteco is a word of the sacred language and is the name of this first Adonaiba. In the Damanhurian tradition, it is connected to the place of birth, as we said already, to the solar plexus and to finding a point of connection, point of growth for the process of self-discovery. And it represents the beginning of our sequence for us, the first Adonaiba. So we said, I'd say that we started with this first interpretation, first analysis of the Adonaiba. We went through a very brief description of the whole sequence. And I don't know if you have questions on this first part, because later we will explore their differences. We will see also why we talk about Adonaibas and alchemy, how we connect the two, and why there is this connection between alchemy and Adonaibas. This is also a way to explore this knowledge of them. So let's see if we have questions first. So let's talk about these differences. These differences, and maybe we can talk about one of the most recognized examples in terms of tradition, which is the Hindu tradition, but there are also many other examples of other civilizations that explored the world of the Adonaipas. But we could maybe stick to two main traditions, two main philosophies. Of course, the Damanhurian one that has, as we said, as a starting point for this journey, the solar plexus, and because of the various reasons we just mentioned, because it becomes especially important in this historic age to start from this first center connected to the solar plexus and eventually move as a second one to the heart and to use the functions of these two centers for the exploration of ourselves and for their functions that are very much needed in this historic age. And then the third one for our sequence, it is the one called the Adonaiba of the root. And there are some differences also in the colors we associate to the energetic centers. There are differences between the Damanhurian tradition and the Hindu tradition. In the Hindu tradition, the color orange is connected to the second Adonaiba. And the fourth one for the Damanhurian tradition. So it is the one connected to the sacred bone. Or actually, forgive me, so it's orange for the Damanhurian tradition and green for the Hindu tradition. And there are differences in the colors. It's important to mention also that. And then the main difference, obviously the most evident one, is the existence of this eighth mobile chakra that moves around the physical body. And as we saw, it's quite an important one because it activates the other seven, but also transmits different information to them, but it also collects our different experiences connected to the world of the divine. So it contains, preserves this type of energy. What does this eighth Adonaiba does? What does it do? It carries this energy and it transports it and then sends it to the other seven. So, in a certain way, we cannot necessarily or specifically define it as an Adonaiba or energetic wheel or center, but it's rather a container. A container or a tank, but a container of this particular type of energy connected to the divine. And it contains, preserves this energy and then delivers it, sends it to the other seven. So when this type of energy of the eighth one connects to one of the other seven, then it adds this additional meaning to them. It adds this extra amount of energy that allows to reawake or to better use that other Adonaiba. Then, depending on the different historic moments, but also depending on the differences between us, we might all experience this energy in different ways and maybe more strongly on one Adonaiba instead of another. So, is everything clear thus far? Later or soon, we will also do a meditation together to explore these Adonaiba. So, let's see if we have questions, and if not, we'll just move on. Okay. So, let's continue. And let's talk about this connection between, or this connection we want to establish by using also the time we have today for this webinar, and by also using the time we'll have during the retreat. Of course, during the retreat, we will talk about Adonaibas and we will talk about alchemy. So, what is the main goal of this retreat? We would like to use some alchemical knowledge that some of you already experimented with, already discovered during the course, for those of you that started the path of alchemy. But so we would like to use some of this alchemical knowledge or knowledge of alchemy and combine it with the path of the Adonaipas. The path of the Adonaipas really uses as its main elements the states of consciousness. As I was mentioning earlier, each one of these worlds of the Adonaipas, we can connect it to specific keywords, specific meanings, but also to states of consciousness that can be experienced and that we can experience by meditating or having similar types of experiences for each one of these Adonaipas. So these states of consciousness, these moods, allow us to better connect and then better explore, first of all, ourselves, but also the world of these Adonaipas. And they can allow us to explore parts of us connected to the functions of these centers. And they might be parts we are already familiar with and we want to transform. So they could be states of consciousness connected to the world of emotions. And so we might discover emotions experienced in our life that so far have not been recognized by us. We might want to discover them better, but instead our goal might be to transform them. Or with the Adonaiba of the heart, we could think of deep emotions connected to love, of course, and relationships had in our life. And the goal might be to better explore them and again also to transform them. Same thing for our physical part. So with the use of different states of consciousness, the exploration of different moods, we might also decide to use them to transform parts of us. And also, if we connect this to the topic of our emotional healing, it is a very important tool we can use and that we have in our hands for our spiritual healing process. So these seven worlds, we can connect to each one of them by using meditations to reawake parts of ourselves or transform other aspects. Alchemy can help us in this. It can offer an extra type of support. It can help us contact these parts of us and distill aspects of them, to distill, alchemically distill something. And this is what allows us to basically collect these states of consciousness, these moods, these emotions that we might also need later, but it can also help us heal parts of ourselves by using, we could call them alchemical process of to distill. And then we will then have to use them, of course, but we end up taking from them what we distill from these centers is something that we use in the following days after the meditation. And this is a way to solidify the whole process to make it become even denser. So, alchemy, of course, is very much a part of this process. And it becomes really this additional value that helps us discover in an even more active way, in a deeper way, but also in a more constant and continuous way, this whole process. And so it can help us obtain results because, in the end, the main result we want to obtain is this inner reawakening that must go through this alchemical art, this alchemical science, and this process of self discovery. So it is this very interesting experience and an experience that can help us better affront this journey. Okay, everything is clear. Okay, so what do you think? Are you ready for meditation now? If you don't have questions for me, then I think we can enjoy now a meditation that will guide us through the sequence and that will allow us to start discovering these 7/8 worlds that describe what a human being is, at least from a more energetic point of view, more connected to deeper meanings or a path of knowledge and, as we said, reawakening. Okay, so at this point, I think that now Tilo can start to play a very relaxing music, and soon we'll enjoy this meditation. In the meantime, I'm just going to ask you to prepare the environment, maybe to dim the lights if you can, or close the curtains, and then find a comfortable position. So we are ready to start. Let's start by taking off our glasses. Right now we don't need them. So if you are wearing glasses, you're not gonna need them now. So close your eyes. Find a comfortable position on your chair, on the mat, on your bed. And focus all of your attention on your physical body. Perceive your body. Perceive your body. Relax your body. This is a moment of awareness, a moment you're dedicating to yourself. You can finally take some time to explore yourself. So use this time to thank this body that has accompanied you for all these years. This body that has allowed you to live all kinds of experiences. This body that has helped you discover more of yourself and to live important experiences. Perceive every part of it, its connection to maybe the chair or the floor, the different parts that touch the ground, the floor. Give it attention. Perceive everything it is now touching, perceive every aspect of it, and then relax it. Relax it completely, fully. And then focus your attention on your breath. Take slow, deep breaths. Breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth that's open. And relax your breath. Relax both your body and your breath. Your breath is breathing in air of knowledge, prana, energy that spreads through your whole being, your whole body, that reaches every cell of your body. Find your rhythm, a rhythm for your breath, the one that works for you, a harmonious rhythm. And from the top of your head, you can now see a golden wave of light, and it touches the top of your head and it spreads different threads, golden threads made of the same light. And these threads, they slowly start to color your face, to color every cell. Every cell welcomes this prana, this light, this healing energy, this harmonious energy. And this wave of light slowly moves down to color your neck, and then your right shoulder, your right arm, your right hand. You can feel it and perceive it. You can perceive this energy as it is spreading through your arm until it reaches every finger of your right hand, and you feel a sense of freedom and awareness, of inner happiness, of joy. And this golden light then colors your left arm, your left shoulder, left arm, left hand. It reaches every finger of your left hand and it colors them and relaxes them. And then it slowly moves down to color your trunk, to color your chest first and your back. Everything is colored by this beautiful bright light that then colors your belly and moves down to color your genital area. Everything has now been colored by this wave that continues to go down. It moves down your right leg until it reaches your right foot and colors every finger of your right foot. And then the wave, the light, moves down the other leg, your left leg, reaches and colors the leg all the way down to your ankle, and then your left foot, and colors every finger of your left foot. You're now inside of this egg, of this golden egg that continues to send energy to you. And through your breath, you can absorb it. It is prana energy, energy of awareness, energy of light, energy of inner reawakening. And your inner energetic lines, your micro lines, they are welcoming this energy. And they are becoming more harmonious, brighter, more open. And your subtle bodies, they too become brighter, denser. More connected between each other. And your mind, the bright light blue sky of your mind, it is now becoming emptier, free, open. Silent. Quiet. Empty, but at the same time full of awareness. A sky that feels light but strong and supports this process by perceiving your spine. Through this line, you can enter a world, a golden world, and live this profound experience of connection with your inner personal power, with your identity, your true identity, your honest identity. And you can also feel the presence of the element fire, the element of transformation. It is present, a huge presence in this world. The color is gold, the element is fire, physical transformation, energetic, an inner transformation, a process of purification. And the journey continues, and you move up. Following the spine, you reach the second Adonaiba, and you enter a different world, an orange world. You can feel a desire inside you, a desire and craving for friendship and love, brotherhood, opening, opening yourself to the others in the world. An experience of gratitude. And then, guided by your breath, move down your spine and reach a new energetic center. This is now a red world. It is placed in between your anus and your genital organs. It is the world of Mother Earth, a world in which you feel calm, safe, anchored, solid. And you live this experience of profound connection. You are now connected with the earth. And slowly move up to discover a new world. This is now a green world. At the base of your sacred bone, and here you can live an experience, a profound inner experience connected to the world of emotions, those deep, true, profound emotions. This is a magic moment of awareness, a moment of awareness, but the journey continues. And your breath is now guiding you somewhere else. around the area of your throat, where you discover a world, a light blue world, the world of sound, communication, your voice, the world of silence you perceive and experience. And now you move up, ready to discover a purple world. And in this world, you see a purple spiral. This is the spiral of knowledge, the spiral of the power of knowledge and the power of dream. The spiral of seeing and knowing. And you start to walk this spiral, this purple spire. And slowly you feel inside you this desire growing, this desire craving to explore even more of yourself and to reawake more of yourself and your deeper parts, to become aware of them. And as you walk this spiral, this knowledge of yourself becomes clearer in your mind. And this desire becomes even more intense. And you keep walking, and this desire becomes stronger and stronger. And you keep walking, and everything is becoming brighter. And you're slowly reaching the center of this big purple spiral. And the center is in between your two hemispheres of the brain. And at the center of the spiral, you see a bright corridor, an intensely bright corridor. And you're about to enter, you're ready to enter in your inner room, the room of your pineal gland, a sacred territory of knowledge, the deeper kind of knowledge, the true knowledge. This territory has led you inside of this bright room that corresponds to your pineal gland. Live this experience of connection with your deepest part, the part of your reawakening. It is a moment of awareness. Listen, listen, and perceive everything this moment has to give you and teach you. Listen to this voice you hear. And now, slowly start to walk through this corridor again. If you look up, you notice the ceiling shows a beautiful constellation, stars, and walk the spiral again this time, walking out of it. Your desire, your craving, or even more knowledge is becoming even more intense as you walk through it. You have now reached the exit. And tonight, you will have important dreams. Dreams that will help you complete this journey. You will receive knowledge, intuition, information on how to experience this process of reawakening. During the day, in the next few days, you will receive signals of synchronicity for your journey. And this will continue for the next few nights and days. Pay attention to the events that will happen around you. And you're preparing to come back here. So establish gradually and slowly. Start to reestablish a connection with your physical body. So you can start to make some small movements that can help you come back here. Move your fingers or your head. Stretch your body, yawn. And when you're ready, when you feel ready, open your eyes and come back here. Welcome back. I hope that you are all back. This journey for the Adonai buzz and the sequence of the Adonai buzz is something that you can also repeat in the future. Okay, so let's see if there are questions or if anyone wishes to share something before we move on to the last phase of tonight's webinar. Okay, so since I see no questions, one thing I want to add is that for the alchemical part, for this path and the different dates for this path and retreat are the 6th and the 9th. I'm just going to check because I often make mistakes with dates. But we're talking about the month of July. So during this retreat, will also be, of course, a part connected to the use of alchemy to alchemically distill substances and different states of consciousness, moods, and emotions. And so we will also expand this topic and the use of alchemy for this exploration of the Adonaipas and how to connect alchemy with our path of self-discovery and knowledge. So the dates are between the 6th and the 9th of July. So the pineal gland is connected with the 6th Adonaiba. It is the Adonaiba in between the two hemispheres of the brain, and it is truly a very interesting and important center, energetic center, because it collects and contains all the experiences of knowledge, and we could also describe it as the process of reawakening. And it's very interesting as a center because it's really the main protagonist for this process of inner reawakening, and it's connected to the pineal gland. Yes, so it's the 6th one. For the retreat, just to give you a few more information, it is between the 6th and the 9th, and there's a part, of course, dedicated to the Adonaipas, one to the use of alchemy for this path of the Adonaipas. It takes place in Damanhur. For what concerns the link, for those of you that are interested, you will receive, together with the link to access the recording of this webinar, the Alchemy School will then soon send you a link, I think in the next few days, the link with all the information, even more details, of course, of the retreat, and also the link to sign up for it if you're interested in joining this retreat. So you will receive it very soon, an email with all the information, as well as the email with the link to access the recording of tonight's webinar. Okay, so unless you have more questions for me, I just want to thank you for your time, your presence here, your attention. So thank you for joining me in this webinar, and thank you for your participation. I hope I'll see you soon again, and I wish you a happy rest of your day. Thank you again. Convoy everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Convoy.
Thank you, Condor. Convoy.
Convoy, grazie.